When Prabhu returned to India after 4 years of studying abroad, he was amazed to see Abhilasha living next door. Abhilasha, who had been considered a dummy by everyone in her childhood, was now the center of everyone's attention, wandering around like a slinky vine, and he wondered if a famous sculptor had meticulously sculpted and fixed her body parts. Abhilasha, who saw a handsome bachelor with an attractive physique and a charming personality, was captivated by Prabhu and admired him in her heart. They met once or twice under some pretext. Then it gradually increased to every day. Gradually, this friendship turned into love. They reached a point where they could not leave each other anymore. They made a firm decision to end this sweet relationship in marriage. When the news of the marriage broke, there was no such encouraging support from either of the families. The caste of the couple was the root of the problem. No matter how much they tried, the families of both could not agree to the marriage. When they finally decided to get married in a registered marriage, both families reluctantly agreed to the marriage, not wanting to confront their grown up children. The marriage took place in the presence of their elders. Prabhu and Abhilasha were very happy with this marriage. In the meantime, Prabhu received an offer for a high position from a famous company in Sydney, Australia. Abhilasha was also very happy with this news because her uncle lived in Sydney. He was a lawyer by profession. Vishwanath was also looking forward to this couple with great affection. So Prabhu and Abhilasha left for Sydney. With the help of her uncle, they rented a separate flat and started a new family. Abhilasha, determined to study further, took admission in a university there for a master's degree. Initially, both of them were very enthusiastic, but slowly resentment began to creep in between them. This was the reason for their quarrel. Prabhu never helped Abhilasha with housework. It was a woman's job, but Abhilasha's responsibility. After that, he started telling her to continue her studies if she had time. But what kind of housework did Abhilasha have? She did not like cooking at all. There was always some kind of a joke during meal time. She would somehow finish cooking with difficulty, but she was more than enough to take care of the rest of the housework. Unlike in India, there were definitely no housekeepers there, so she had to handle everything herself. That is why she wanted her husband's help in housework. Even after finishing her housework and going to university, she had to study at home for 3 4 hours for practice. It became very difficult for her to manage the duties of a housewife and the life of a student at the same time. This would make her angry. Lovers who seem to be in love all the time realize the reality only after marriage. Love is blind, so both of them reach the peak of politeness and fulfill the needs and wants of their partner faithfully. But when the same people get married, they worry about their rights and their privileges. Then, due to the daily hassle, both of them start to clash. The intensity of love decreases, and real life becomes unbearable. Each other's habits now feel like torture. One day, Prabhu was tormented by some serious problem in the office. He took off his shoes and lay down on the sofa. Half an hour later, Abhilasha also came back from college, tired. She started cooking for the night. She called out to her husband for help, asking him to finish the work quickly. He was so absorbed in his own worries that he did not hear his wife's voice, but he felt that he was deliberately defying her. So Abhilasha, who came out with a heavy step, shook him and showered him with questions. He was furious with her for holding his shoulders and questioning him. He angrily let go of her hand. She missed the opportunity and leaned back, hitting her forehead on the edge of the showcase and fell down. Blood dripped from her forehead. Then Prabhu, who noticed her properly, was startled. He rushed forward and pressed her forehead tightly, trying to stop the blood from flowing. She lost her temper and pushed him away and ran to the bedroom. Prabhu, who came running after her, apologized. I am very sorry, Abhilasha. I did not push you intentionally. Please forgive me. Go, let's go to the doctor immediately, he pleaded. But Abhilasha did not have the patience to listen. She slammed the door of the room. Prabhu kept shouting at her again and again, asking her to open the door. After a long time, the door opened and she came out holding a suitcase. Blood was dripping from her forehead. Pushing him away, she said, "I'm going to my uncle's house now. He will talk to you." Abhilasha, who had slammed the outer door, had left his house. Prabhu stood there looking at her helplessly. When she arrived at Vishwanath's house in a taxi at night, the elderly couple were shocked. "Abhilasha, is this our child injured like this?" The only words that came out of her mouth were Prabhu. Then she started crying uncontrollably. Vishwanath thought that Prabhu might have touched her. He felt very angry. He gritted his teeth and said, "Oh, did that Prabhu do this to you? Why did he do such a bad thing to you? How dare he? Just watch. I wonder what kind of fate he will face." Their comforting words soothed her aching heart. Their sympathetic words were so comforting that she did not tell him the real incident that had happened in her house. Prabhu had never thought that she would leave the house because of some small incident of displeasure. He felt even more angry with her because he had been humiliated by it. He didn't even tell to her to leave the house. Instead, he apologized to the injured woman and told her to go to the doctor. But he started thinking to himself that she had left the house on her own. She should come back whenever she wanted. No matter how hard he tried to stop her, he felt like she had gone to her relative's house to humiliate him. He decided that he would not go to their house on his own, whatever happened. Abhilasha's forehead wound had to be stitched. He knew how serious her condition was when she left the house, but even so, shouldn't he have called her at least once and inquired about her health? Shouldn't he have come here to see her? She decided that she should definitely not go to that house on her own until he came looking for her. In this way, both of their egos got in the way of all their decisions and neither of them allowed themselves to be defeated. It became a situation where neither of them would give in. Several days passed like this. When her phone rang, whenever the doorbell rang, Abhilasha thought it must be Prabhu. Similarly, Prabhu was also expecting her. When he returned home from the office, the empty and chaotic house increased his disappointment. But neither of them was ready to give up their egos and come forward to meet each other. Abhilasha's uncle was a lawyer himself. He was adept at giving divorce papers. After many months, he placed the divorce papers in front of Abhilasha. "First, you sign this, I will take care of the rest," he growled. Seeing that, Abhilasha hesitated a little at first, thinking that Prabhu would get scared after seeing these divorce papers, then he would come to me on his own. She signed them. When Prabhu got these divorce papers, he went mad. One after another, he was accused of one heinous crime and given grounds for divorce. Not only that, but his strength was shattered when he saw the amount of alimony being asked for. Every month he would go away empty handed. Prabhu was for a big shock. He had never imagined that Abhilasha would take such a drastic step. Did she love the dollar I earned more than me? If that was what she really wanted, he would let her have all his money. So he signed the paper and sent it back. But the truth was that Abhilasha had no idea that the alimony was this big. It was her uncle's trick. What else was there after both of them had signed the agreement? If it had been in India, it would have been even later, where divorce cases are concluded quickly. In our country, it sometimes takes years, and so the bond between them had been broken. Prabhu was really shaken by this shocking incident. Whatever reason her uncle had given to Abhilasha's parents, on the surface, Prabhu was portrayed as a great cruel person. They had told Abhilasha that it would be good to get rid of such a sinner. Prabhu's parents were shocked when they heard this. Without delay, they both flew to Sydney to be with their son. Prabhu, who had collapsed mentally, he had come to Bengaluru with his parents on a long vacation, and yet, thanks to the love of his parents, Prabhu improved a lot in a month. The next month, he had to return to Sydney for work. His grief had not completely subsided, but he was smart enough to control himself and get down to work. He did not even want to remember Abhilasha. From morning to 8 p.m., she was somehow busy with work in the office, but when she came home at night, she was lonely. When Vishwanath handed over the amount of money she had received from Prabhu after the divorce, To Abhilasha, she was shocked. Her uncle said, "See, I am such a capable lawyer. How I worked hard to give you the money that was due to me," and stood there smiling to receive praise from her. But this was not a victory for her, it was just a defeat for her. She said in anguish, "Uncle, what have you done to me? I definitely didn't want Prabhu's money. We taught him a lesson properly. Should you not be happy that you got a big sum of money? With a big sum, you got your further education, a secure future. There is no problem with anything. You don't have to depend on anyone for that." "Uncle, why did you claim this maintenance without asking me? How cheap Prabhu must have felt about me." Vishwanath felt very annoyed by Abhilasha's accusation. If he had freed the woman who had shown her husband as a villain from her troubles, would he now say this as if he were the culprit? Abhilasha now began to realize her mistakes clearly. She felt like she had stabbed herself in the foot in anger. She felt that she had made a mistake by not telling her aunt clearly about what had happened that day, by portraying her husband as the culprit, by not going to see him one day, or even calling him. Now Prabhu's good qualities began to show. He may not have helped with the housework, but Prabhu had never yelled at her. The problem that had arisen then was not serious enough to have no solution. Moreover, when she left home, Prabhu had repeatedly told her not to do this and to go to the doctor, and she started crying bitterly. She should not have taken such a big step out of anger. She should have thought about her future loneliness, and she lamented her foolishness. She wondered if her broken social life would ever be the same again. Such thoughts kept replaying in Abhilasha's mind. So she felt like she should go and apologize to Prabhu in person. But what good would it do to apologize now? She felt that he would never forgive her after all the insults she had been subjected to. Instead of sitting there thinking like this, she thought it would be better to meet him. So she somehow plucked up the courage and sent him an apology letter via email. Prabhu was shocked to see Abhilasha's email. So without even reading it, he replied, "Now there is no relationship between you and me. I have worked hard, endured the insults, and paid the alimony you asked for. So don't make any more vain attempts to peek into my life." But Abhilasha, who had naturally expected this, was not deterred by it and started sending him apology letters again and again. She explained that she never wanted his property or money, that she had just signed the divorce papers without checking them. Prabhu used to read her emails but never replied. A week passed like this. Once, when Prabhu returned home at 8 p.m. after work, Abhilasha was waiting for him at the door. He did not want to stand outside and make any noise, so he let her in. Abhilasha, who came in, held his hand and started sobbing. "Prabhu, I am very ashamed about the money issue. Whatever happened, please forget it as a bad dream. Why don't we both give our social life another chance? That is, why don't we get married again? Then you can't rob me again." His sarcasm was intense. Abhilasha was taken aback by Prabhu's answer, but she immediately controlled herself. Putting aside her ego, she calmly said, "Prabhu, please don't say that. I will guarantee it," and returned the check he had sent in her name. However, Prabhu did not react at all. Abhilasha stood up silently. She looked at him once accusingly. Without saying anything, she started walking out silently. In a moment, Prabhu got up from there and said, "Abhilasha, please forgive me. I have done wrong too. Whatever happened, let's forget it and start a new life. Let's try to make our new life better. Let's both get married again." He pulled her by the waist and hugged her. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel.